You're like, yes,
I'm in a little bit of a the living room cave, so it's okay.
be in the cave. You're allowed to be in the cave right now.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what's been showing up. I know we had a lot that we moved through in our last session. So I was wondering what you've been noticing.
It feels so long ago.
Yeah, it does.
God. I just looked over those notes too, and I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to work with and I didn't.
That's okay. What did you work with? Let's focus on.
So, I've been just grounding into just the timer and
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
doing the muse and then the future self, child self, just like I'm just like staying with that because that's
Right.
better, but it's so interesting watching how um like I will blow it off certain days and why I'm blowing it off and stuff.
Ooh, what are you noticing on the days where you are blowing it off?
There'll be days where I'm in a sometimes I just in a deep restoration if I'm exhausted,
Yeah.
where I'm totally dropping out. Um, and if the alarm goes off, sometimes I'll just be like, I just don't do,
Yeah.
I don't do it, and it's yeah, so that's one case. And then I'm really busy. There,
Ah.
there's a lot flying around that's really good. It's so it's like a lot of plates flying around,
Mm-hmm.
and if the alarm goes off, I don't want to interrupt a flow.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll be like, I'll do it in a minute,
And does that minute ever come back?
um, half so. So that's where I'll miss it if I'm either
Okay.
really, really busy
Yeah.
or really fatigued and
Mm.
unplugged, like the two polarities.
Yeah. Oh, that's some really great information. So
Yeah.
like on the busy days, would it be supportive to like set a timer for 30 minutes, like so that you can wrap up what you're doing, or an hour?
I get what
You
you're
get to
saying.
choose.
I
So
get
that
you.
you so that you're still saying I matter and I value myself enough to connect to myself even in this busyness.
Yeah, in a way, six half dozen or the other, because the amount of time it takes me to reset the timer, I could probably just start the meditation, So,
Even
uh,
if it's 30 seconds, Shanti, of like, okay, I know I'm busy, but I'm gonna honor and I'm just gonna connect to myself for 30 seconds. 10 seconds even. Just if you commit to doing it no matter what, even if it's only 10 seconds.
yeah, that's good. I just realized I can probably hit, what do you call it?
Snooze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that would do the job as well.
Yeah, experiment with that because it's interesting how when you're really fatigued or busy, you put valuing and connecting to yourself as not important.
Yeah, I'm like just thinking, well, there's different thoughts in the busy mode. I'm thinking that the whatever I'm creating or putting together is more important.
Right.
And in the fatigue mode, I think I'm thinking that the dropping out and unplugging and non-doing is more important, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these things then if are mood based in a way.
Yeah.
So you know, when you think about meditation, you do the discipline no matter how you're feeling or what's going on.
Well, and it's not meditation. This is literally, it's like you plugging in your computer to the power source to be connected. That's what you're doing in the Muse method. Meditation is different because meditation is part of the two-way communication with you and the divine. Prayer is the asking, meditation is the receiving, is the answering from the divine. And the Muse method is saying, I'm going to be deeply centered in self. I'm connecting. I value myself to plug into me and expand into more of that power that I've been given.
Yeah, I didn't mean to compare them literally. I just meant
Yeah, it's
in any
similar.
in any of these te- processes, it's like you don't get caught up in a mood,
Right.
of one thing. You're
Yeah.
still, in spite of the
Yep.
tired or the busy.
Yeah. It's just funny because you said dropping out and non-doing when you're in the like fatigue place. I was like, but the Muse method is being. You're just being with the non-doing then.
Wait, say that again?
I said, because you said when you're in the fatigued place, in the like deep restoration, that you're dropping out and not doing is most important. But with the Muse method, we're being. It's really focused on being, just being. That's it. Being.
I guess I'm thinking of the Muse method as, yeah, because I'm also connecting it to talking to my future self and child self. I've linked the three things,
Yeah.
so then it feels like a doing to me.
Ah, so then yeah, just in that deep in that fatigue state when you're in the deep restoration, you're just doing traditional Muse method, just connecting and being with what's here. That's it. You're not doing anything. Don't bring the future self, child self in. No, no. We need very little.
All right, so I'm going to reframe this in my head that I'm doing the Muse method, and in that moment, if there's some more time, I'll do the other. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can honor when that's showing up for you, like when it feels called to do it that way. But I know for you, adding it into your rhythm has been supportive so that you remember to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of cultivated a little some I brought in all those other things, and
mhm,
I had brought in some breathing. I
mhm.
had a little thing. So
I love it. You're really nurturing and nourishing all the parts of you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just I would like to be there were some of those questions that were really cool, like, oh, there was one in here that something like, show me what it looks like. Yeah, there was just so much from last time.
There
Um,
was.
anyway, what helps me, well, you typed up some things, so I am just sort of looking like, what the hell have I been doing for 2 weeks? It's been a lot. So I guess I feel like I was doing the bare minimum,
Mm,
you know,
yeah.
and
What did that create for you by doing the bare minimum in all that you had going on over the last 2 weeks?
well, some of it is I'm not exactly enjoying the energy that's I've been with. I was in a something where I was fighting off being sick,
Yeah, I remember that.
and then I came back, and then we had talked about, because I was feeling it was hard to get going with the music.
Yeah.
So that was the focus now that I think about it, because it was sort of incrementally breathing into that, like, and working with the resistance.
Mm,
So there was a lot of excavating to do. And basically, what I was hoping to, let's just say, achieve, I did. Like,
oh,
it got lighter, but it was not always an easy process,
yeah. Mm,
because yeah, there was a lot of just I'm setting up a few gigs and rehearsals and new material, and then working with how to focus, and uh
yeah.
working with these people. So I was very like caught up in that.
Hmm.
But
Mm.
I suppose you could say that I was feeling like I was making some progress with getting clarity and focus and creating what I needed to create. Um, but then if I look back on it, I wasn't fully embodied with like the the muse method, or you know what ended up happening? I pulled back from a lot of communication and I was just doing a lot of solo inward
Yeah.
time. And maybe the energy was feeling it wasn't quite buoyant, um because there was this solo in the cave working through
Mhm.
all of that inwardly, outwardly.
Yeah.
That I just, I, I don't know, like, I don't feel, I haven't been feeling a sparkle. And
Mm.
some of it's just that this is a big shit show going on in the world. And,
Yep. Yep.
and half of my friends are going insane and they're making me insane. So
Oh,
I can't, I just can't handle talk. Some folks I just can't talk to right now. Um, they just want to grind on the politics, and you know, I'm just, I'm protecting my energy.
right.
So
And
yeah, go ahead.
well, I want to acknowledge that because that's different than what you've done in the past, Shanti, by honoring what's showing up for you and you're not forcing yourself to stay communicating and connecting with these people and
Mm-hmm.
pulling back because whatever you feed, whatever wolf you feed is going to grow. And if you continue to feed the wolf that your friends are going insane about, you will not do the work that you are called here to do.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what? Maybe I can share from a place of empowerment.
Yeah, please.
Like what was working, because I know that's one thing. Like,
That's, yeah.
yeah, now that it's funny now that I really think about the couple weeks, I just had this fierceness. Like
Mm,
one friend that is, a little negative grinding on stuff. And we've had this before. And I said, I, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I need a break. I need a day off.
yeah.
And he didn't respect that. So I saw he was escalating and he was talking, and I kind of let him go for a bit. And then I said, I got to go. I said, I have an appointment. And then he kept talking and I'm like, I really have to go.
Mhm.
So that was, and then he has not texted or reached out since. Like he got baby, his little man boy child got upset.
Yep. We see that happening all over in our government. Uh-huh.
I'm sort of like, fuck you. I'm sort of like, I
Yep.
don't care. I'm not doing it anymore.
High five.
It's like we've had a couple tussles, and I'm like, if
Yeah.
you can't respect that I requested a timeout and you didn't respect that, and then I got off the phone politely,
Right.
and now you're going to be a baby, maybe we're done. Like I'm not reaching out. So that was like me taking care of myself. And what I noticed about it was weird because it wasn't like most folks. If you say I'm burned out, I don't really want to talk, or you give them the I gotta go, I
Hmm.
was gonna be like a bully about it. Like I was surprised that he was resisting, and I had to push back.
Yeah.
I, that but I felt good about that. And I let a couple friends know that I'm avoiding conversations right now because I just, it's a loaded time, and it's
Mhm.
that I know people say they don't want to talk about all this stuff, but they inevitably do. So I'm just staying quiet right now.
Okay.
Um, and I did tell a couple people that I guess I've been communicating more than ever.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I had two other folks that I've needed to, like, we're not in sync anymore, but we will do a Zoom or a call.
Mm-hmm.
And the pattern's super dysfunctional. Like, it spins in text 20 times and then they don't commit to a time.
Hmm.
Say maybe, one will say, I need it earlier, the other side will need it later, and then you don't hear from them, and I'm holding a date. So I was just like, somebody said, "Are we doing this tonight?" And I'm like, "Good question."
Yep.
You said you would get back to us because you didn't know if you could be earlier. And you said you needed it later. And I need to know by 5 o'clock because I got other things to do. Sorry, I got to respect my time.
Mm.
So, and then I'm just like, come on, and if you guys, they didn't really, unlike the dude, they didn't get upset
Right.
because they know. And then on the call, I'm like, it's, it's so funny. And then I said, I need this call to be highly structured with equal time, like, and
You
not,
advocated for more reciprocity.
yes. And I said, I'll facilitate. We'll do an opening circle. And then the one chick, she tends to go on into stories.
Yep.
So we had our 5 minutes. It was really hard to keep them roped in. And then the other one was like, can I just tell you a story? So I gave her that. And then she's like, can I tell? And I'm like, no. And she really, that was so hard for me because she went like this.
Of
Back.
course. You
Oh,
disrupted the system. How did that feel though?
oh, it was, I felt like, sorry if I'm sounding a little bitchy tonight, but I'm just sick of people running the show with from their bratty inner kid, like,
Yeah.
so I just felt like, she's a lovely person, but she's not not a great friend, or not really there in reciprocity. So I give a lot, and I just thought, I we're we're this is over. I'm not letting her take over everything because she's shown herself to be, you know, it,
Yeah.
it it's so I it was so hard though because the way she shrunk after that. I get it. I
What
kind
did what did you notice inside of you when she shrunk back when you said no to respect, reciprocity, and equal time?
of her body language was really intense. So I felt like I I wounded an animal.
What did you notice in your body? Because you felt
Yeah,
like
like
an animal.
it was like a, oh my God, as if I stepped on an animal. Like I felt bad
Yeah.
that I hurt her.
Mm.
And then I also felt like, oh fuck, I know what that's like to be shut down like that. And she's done it a lot to me too. So, you know, um, so that was maybe like a almost like this. I was gasping, like, oh wow, oh my God, the effect. And I felt afraid in a way, but I also
Yeah.
recovered because I thought, too bad, man. Grow up, man. Like, be a be in the collective here in a way that's healthy, or engaging. So
So you use the energy, what I just heard you say was you use the energy to create something new. you use that energy of even feeling afraid to breathe some new life into what you want in your life.
Yeah, because I thought, see, my choice was with this meeting that was not coming together like usual
Right.
and going towards wasting my time, not just wasting my time, but maybe showing up in a meeting also that would be ranting on politics or
Right.
whatever. I thought option A is to just give up on them and say cancel, like this just never works. Or I'm like, option B is to just sort of be fierce about it and tell them my boundary and then what it needs to be for me. Because
And
yeah. Well,
what
because
did,
otherwise I'm totally giving up. I'm just sort of done with them and
yeah,
get pissed off, you know.
what did you notice by doing that? By creating that structure for yourself and being fierce for,
Okay. Yeah, so one thing was that I want to improve. I spend too much energy soaking on it and how to approach it. And if I was going to
oh,
approach it, I was very much on the fence. I didn't know. I was so uncomfortable for a few days.
yes. Okay.
And then I was doing that thing in my head a little too long about when I was writing them about tell me by 5 o'clock or I'm out.
Okay.
And that is better, but I'm still like, how do I word this? Because I was a little bit like, there was an intensity. And then that was kind of okay. It needed to be done. And then showing up in the meeting as a facilitator, they were fine with that.
Okay.
So that was good.
How are you with it?
Oh, I'm fine. My only thought is um, this is the only way it works for me with these ladies in our dynamic and gestalt, which is okay, but I still am pretty clear that these are not my inner circle people because I have
Hmm.
to be on the job, like,
And who are you doing it for by staying in relationship with them?
well, see, and I'm just painting the negative picture, there's other
There's
stuff, right? That long history, like 30 something years with one woman, and we share shamanic process
beautiful,
and some art stuff. There's some interests in a
but
long.
it's still supportive for you. That's all that matters.
I'm
Is
sorry, what?
it's still supportive for you.
To a degree. So I'm still reevaluating. You could say that I might be migrating out
Cool.
because I'm exploring having boundaries and which will allow me to have some connection. But like if I talk to them one on one, it can work better. It's this three-way little group. It doesn't work.
So then why don't you do one-on-one? Do you have to keep doing the group dynamic?
Yeah, well, this is where I'm caught because somebody will suggest the group thing and try to get a date.
But
And
why do you have to why can you say whatever you like that doesn't work for me anymore?
yeah, so what I've been doing is rather than dumping it, I've been trying to like working with it to try to see if can we get a date easier? Can we show up? And we have had like some
Yeah,
feedback where I'll talk to the one woman on the side about that one that talks too much and we're both on the same page like oh my god, like so I
yeah,
was seeing that um we all kind of want to improve the dynamic actually,
right.
but it wasn't happening. And then so this has been this big process where I'm like it's not happening. I guess I have to be the facilitator because it's just not happening as a group. Um, and then they didn't mind that I was the facilitator, which Um, that's kind of okay, but on the other hand,
Mhm.
um, it's only going to work for me in a limited capacity because that's not exactly a nourishing.
You're still holding the container then,
Yeah. Yep.
and you're not able to be fully with
Yep.
everything. You're not able to be. You're still doing. That's what I
Yep.
heard you say.
Right. So,
And all of the energy that went into it on the forefront of
yep.
how to approach it.
It's not really worth it. I would do it occasionally, whatever, a couple times a
What
year
the,
or something.
okay. So a couple times a year. So
Yeah.
like quarterly, 3 times a year. Like, what are you thinking?
Um, let's see. I could say quarterly.
Okay.
And so I was avoiding this for a while, and then I uh, somehow through a texting we migrated into trying to do another meeting. And so in some ways it's good because I did tell them the way the plan making makes me crazy.
Hmm.
It's got to
Good.
work better.
You advocated. Okay.
Accomplished, so I let them know that, and that and then in- initiated the structure. And I don't know if it'd be worth it for me to go farther and say, look, you guys, this is a lot of energy for me. I was sort of on edge trying to keep the time. One of you guys we got to somebody's going to be the timekeeper, take turns.
Yeah. Why can't each person take their own time?
No, they won't do
They
it.
won't do it.
You know what I'm saying? They'll just,
Well, there's even an option on Zoom if you're meeting on Zoom to set meeting timers.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there is an option. And
Yeah,
you're gathering a lot of information.
yeah,
These people keep showing you, especially this one, keep showing you who she is and what she's capable of.
right. So, um, it's like a laboratory where I'm trying a lot of things.
Yeah,
Like in some ways it's better, in some ways it's the same problem,
correct.
you know.
Not a little different.
And I had been sitting with, do I just walk away from these people? But I don't think that's healthy either. I would rather not do a cutting, you know,
Perfect.
um, because I had a period where I was completely cutting and dumping.
Yeah,
So now I'm working with how to be with people with a certain level of connection that's not going to draw me into these problems,
right.
you know.
So, Shanti, what I heard from you is in the group setting, there was a lot more contracting in your being. So there was a lot of energy going into how to approach. And then you were in your head of like, how do I, for too long, of how do I word this to not like hurt anyone's feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Versus when you talked about the one-to-one interaction, there was ease in you. There wasn't that contraction. So I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if you're just you gain some clarity of the group dynamic isn't working, it's too much to manage.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe fostering these relationships on a one-to-one basis, and then once a year or something, maybe you guys get together if that's supportive, or you do a call. But it's
Yeah,
even quarterly sounds like it's a task,
I
Shanti.
don't. Yeah, I think that's too much. There's part of me that's also a little resentful. Well, see, during
Ah,
yeah, during COVID, I did shaman groups like twice a month, and we, it worked then, but I was clearly just I would announce like you do, announce the groups at a pattern, and um, but all this dysfunction wasn't really happening, and then still had a decent connection with these two.
yeah.
They've some things have changed a lot with them. So I think we're all a little sentimental for how that used to be sweet, but for whatever reason, it's that time is done, you know.
So how
So
could you honor that that time is over?
and they were like, once we did the meeting, they were like, oh, that was so great. Can we do this every 2 weeks? I'm like,
Hell no.
so because I'm thinking, before I was doing it and there was a charge or a donation, I pay for Zoom.
Right.
Now it's migrated into this friendship. Like I'm facilitating, like I should, hey people, I get paid for this, you know?
So
So
there's no reciprocity. Once again, it's
yeah,
you're oh, I hear this pattern coming through again of over giving.
yeah, yeah. So
And then
I
there's
guess,
resentfulness coming up.
what?
The resentfulness is information. Your body's speaking because
Yeah,
it's inviting you to like the resentments, anger, fire is
yeah,
inviting you to rise up and choose something differently that's more honoring for Shanti.
right. Yeah. Um, yeah. It's like I put my hand in the fire. Like I keep thinking, well, I'm gonna do it differently this time.
What is it doing for you?
Well, I would say I did get my strength about communicating, you
Yeah.
know. Um, I think I'm not, some part of me is not ready to throw in the towel because I'm not satisfied with how I've been showing up, you
Mm,
or not showing up, like not fully
mm,
communicating my boundaries or needs or behaving from a better boundary. So um, there's that's probably why I keep niggling with it, you know.
right.
So I could feel like this meeting I accomplished a lot and I didn't die, you know. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean,
What did you notice in your body during this meeting? Is it really for you?
no, no, but I still feel glad about it's like I went through with it because um I was practicing something new with giving them a
Yes.
boundary with like you're in or out by this time and
Right.
committing and then run having the structure. So um but I don't want to have to keep doing that, so
But is this true at all? Are you willing to, because you're there, I keep hearing like you don't want to just leave them, you don't want to just cut them out, but
mhm
I'm hearing, and tell me if this is true, that
mhm
you're cutting part of yourself out to be here.
yeah, yeah, it's very clearly it's not good. It's like I would do a meeting a couple times a year to it would be like an old like a school reunion type thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you say you don't want to cut anyone out, but you're cutting yourself out every time you show up for this. Maybe not every time, but by doing it more than you would really want.
Yeah, I need to definitely not get dragged into doing it that much at all, So I was there before, I had stopped doing these. I was avoiding any when they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And or some they'd say, "Why aren't we doing those journeys anymore?" And I just wouldn't really. So this was a revisitation
Right.
and
And you stood in your power. So
yeah.
let's name that. Like you didn't just avoid it and
Mhm.
just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
This time you honored it and you stood in your power for what was true for you. And you also gained some clarity.
Yeah.
Still a lot of work and you still have to do a lot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So in a way, if I think about it, I could be done because I
Mm,
actualized what I needed to actualize.
yeah,
And with the speaking up and standing in my power.
yeah,
I don't, it kind of bothers me that I wouldn't speak up more, but it might be a trap. Like to speak up more would be to say, this process is pretty draining and I'm scheduling the meeting and being the timekeeper and getting a format. I don't feel, I'm not up for this.
yeah. So
But I think I would get caught in some a deeper stuff by speaking up.
tell me more. What do you mean you'd be caught in deeper stuff?
Like I kind of don't think it would result in it would turn into a problem solving, trying to collaborate and problem solve. So
Hmm.
I'd be sucked in farther.
Ah,
No.
by being honest. So
Yeah.
is it true? Is it sounds like by you being fully transparent, they try to fix it as if it's a problem, as opposed to honoring what is true for you.
Well, if I'm saying to them like it's a lot of energy and stress to be the timekeeper,
Right,
that's I'm holding the space. They
right,
might want to problem solve that and
right. So,
help.
right, they want to help. And what if you're just saying, hey, this isn't anything to be fixed or solved. I'm just noticing that this is taking a big toll on me and I don't
Mm-hmm.
have the energy for this.
Right.
But
And
that might not be something they can receive, Shanti. They may not be receptive to hearing that.
actually, you know what? I think this, if I was just, that's a very simple statement. I just don't have the energy for this right now. It's a lot of energy to come together and
Yeah. And let's be real, you've already named it. Right now, we are being polarized more than ever. So the division in our world is causing more inner division within ourselves. So we have less bandwidth than we've ever had before.
yeah, yeah. It, I think the one woman I I don't have as much issue with.
Yeah,
We were sharing things that were very similar.
that's what I'm hearing is there's one woman that it seems like there's reciprocity, but the other woman, it feels like there's more work. Every time it
Yeah.
just feels like there's a lot of work.
Yeah, so the threesome doesn't work. Uh, um, it was kind of funny because the one woman I have, she's talking about what you just said about bandwidth thing, and that's how I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because in her share, she was saying, I just can't handle people right now, and I just feel like, shut the fuck up. And I just oh my God, because that's kind of what I ended up feeling about the other one, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm like, oh man, chick, like we're both experiencing everything like how you are. But then that other woman wants to, her thing is to, so it's not compatible.
Well, she's verbally vomiting in the situation, like in the group setting, and she's in a sense being an energy vampire.
Yeah, I gotta write that down. So, anyhow, no more threesomes.
No more threesomes. Good
Yeah,
job, Shanti. You gained a lot of clarity,
yeah,
and there's part of you that was beating yourself up that you were bothered that you wouldn't speak up more. But what if you knew that it wasn't able to be received and now you gain clarity and you're like, no more threesomes. I can't do this anymore. And that might change in the future.
Yeah, and so I think I'm going out with a feeling good about
Yeah.
having done this last one with more empowerment and
Yeah.
um and part of me is sad though. It's sort of a, what you call it, dissolving or death of a nice dynamic.
Yeah.
um I'm always like confused by that when things are connected or people are reciprocal, and then
Yeah.
it gets weird. So I think I'm having a little grieving.
So what if I just want to acknowledge the fact that you're holding both of these things? Both of these things can be true. And what if you are learning how to let go like the sun sets every day
Ah,
with beauty, grace, and ease? But what that requires, not requires, what that's inviting is for you to let go.
yeah.
Because what I hear you saying is you're sad because it's no longer what it was. It can never be what it was. You're in a different time. That was what it was at that time. So how can you embrace what is true now and honor what's here now? So what if we do the muse method to be with the sadness and honor the sadness that's here to remind you that what you love matters and having that type of energy that was before matters, but it's not happening right now and it's not wrong.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a clinging thing, a
And
little,
Shanti,
yeah.
that's served you in the past, but is it still serving you by holding on and continuing to burn your hand in the fire, as you said?
You know, just a little, I'm just, it's a powerful time of letting go of a lot of older things that don't match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just taken me a while. Like, I think I'm stronger, you know, because when I kind of lost this BFF, this Mira, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think because I went through that, I'm I'm willing to let somebody go if they're really gonna compromise my peace of mind. But I was playing with this, not this harsh, stark thing. It's not as easy to do, where you have some connection, but not getting sucked into the old patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, yeah, I would like to do some muse on that
Yeah. To
that
be with. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's close our eyes. Let's follow our breath. And I'm going to invite something. Maybe we've done it before. Bring your hands to cup your ears, like you're just hearing your own sound to just really drown out any outside noises. And then follow your breath and breathe life into every cell of you, stoking your inner fire. And now hold this intention of just connecting and expanding into more of you. Sink into Shanti. Take another 2 breaths here. And then after those breaths, bring your hands to your heart, just revering the deep sadness and grief that is here, and just gently gaze down, just being with that. And now just continue to stay here for this moment, and just I'm going to ask a question and just see what arises in you. How might you deepen into you, Shanti, and support your own needs? How might you deepen into you and support your own needs? And if anything arises, you can share that when it feels right.
Um, the word joy came up,
Hmm.
so uh, like a daily, like checking in with where can I be with joy today? Um,
Mm.
and just really, I don't want to do anything that doesn't give me that full body yes,
Awesome.
which is what I've been working with for these 2 weeks. Well, and if
Yeah.
I'm like with folks that I might have talked with, on the phone or whatever, if I was getting a like rah feeling,
Yes.
I wasn't getting on the phone, or I was getting off the phone quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I can't do it.
Let's celebrate that, because that's a huge shift, and that's been something we've been working on, but you're doing it now. You're literally
Yeah.
following your body and you're listening. You're
The
not leaving
body,
yourself.
yeah, the body is revolting. It's like toxic now. Like,
Well, it's normal that your body gets louder. The more you're connected to self, your body will get louder, because she's like, your muse, your unique self-expression is like, oh my God, Shanti's listening. I'm going to keep getting louder because this is the only way she listens. Or else she's going to keep sacrificing herself and abandoning me every turn she gets because she doesn't want to let go of somebody else. But she keeps letting me go. So I'm going to get really loud.
yeah, it's one thing I need want to work on is I could listen to her and then, not be around this person or something.
Yeah.
But then I still have that uncomfortable feeling of that I'm abandoning somebody or hurting them.
Mm,
That I get that super uncomfortable. It's like a guilty, sad feeling.
awesome. What if that is showing up because you are abandoning yourself by continuing to stay in relationships that maybe aren't for you anymore?
It's hard for me to connect the dots with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
What if the uncomfortable feeling is also, could this be true? That it might be showing up because you're choosing honoring you, and you're honoring you in a way that you never have before. So it feels very uncomfortable right now.
that might be some of it. I'm just overly occupied with thinking about this other person as a person who has a need or a let's a certain kind of they want us, a certain kind of love of me, and they want what I.
Okay, so how's this working for you by thinking of this other person and their needs above your own?
Yeah, so that's not helpful.
Well, it's keeping you here, Shanti, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I heard earlier when you're like, I put too much energy into thinking about how I'm going to approach this, or in your head too long. So what if whenever you're noticing you're in your head and it's taking too much energy? Oh yeah, that's right. Brain, I love you. Thank you. Notice what happens in my body. I'm going to come back and connect to me. Like literally having those conversations with your brain out loud.
Okay.
Brain, that's not working. Overthinking
Okay.
isn't working.
Let me, I want to sort of slow this down so I can remember it in the moment.
Yes.
Um, okay. Like as a real example,
Yes.
there's another woman, lot, couple of these I've probably mentioned. They're older and they might have health issues or things. Long-term friends, but so I think about, okay, I know so and so is feeling abandoned or has said little things, or
Yeah.
and I'm imagining her feeling really sad at home, because I'm one of her few lifelines or friends, and so in the midst of feeling that,
Yeah.
oh God. But then if I go back into my body,
Hmm.
I'm feeling the sadness.
Is it their sadness or your sadness?
No, it's mine.
Okay, so you're feeling sad. Awesome.
I
Are you
don't,
willing to, or can you be with that? Because what if the sadness is here to invite you to deeply press in and be supported?
I just keep thinking about the other person and their suffering.
Right.
So I don't know if, like, how do I, or should I even be not thinking about them? Like, how do I just pull it back to my body?
Well, what if it's an invitation for you to send them a card or
Oh,
do something different than maybe you've done in the past
mhm.
to let them know that they matter, but
Mhm.
you're honoring your energy and what you have capacity for.
I like that.
Because when you get stuck in your head, you disconnect from you and what you need and you make it all about them, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And what if part of you is sad, Shanti? What if it is you're sad because you are so used to taking care of everybody else first that taking care of you feels selfish or it feels wrong because that's what you've been told.
And then the dynamic with these characters is when I take care of myself, even if I think I'm being gentle or just clear, like I have another meeting, they get shitty. Like
Hmm.
like there's another uh layer in there, like
Yeah.
then that it makes it even more like, oh, me taking care of myself is a problem because
Yep.
they've made it clear it's a problem for them. Like they're not just quietly getting off the phone or
Right.
accepting that I'm not talking on the phone. Um,
Hmm.
so there's some way I need to separate to stay in my power that I if they can have their their problem, or their upset, and that's not about me, I guess.
It's not personal, but Shanti, you're shifting the dynamic in the relationship. You're not being a doormat anymore. And now that you've removed you being the doormat, they're like, but now what do I wipe my shoes on? I'm really angry that you're not going to be my doormat anymore. What the hell? And what if that's here for you to value yourself and say, I value me and I'm going to respect myself enough to honor my own time. Because people are going to get angry when you change things.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if it's here for you to have information so you get to choose differently and to
Hmm.
have your own back and not abandon yourself and cut yourself off.
Yeah. So I'm at this stage, yes, where I've gotten off the phone or not on the phone or create a distance, but I'm now working with my feelings that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that part, I need to reframe how I'm thinking so I'm not caught in that, like, maybe feeling like I did something wrong to hurt them.
Right. Because right now what's happening is they get shitty when you stand up for yourself. So it in a sense, because of their behavior, it reinforces the story that you're doing something wrong by honoring yourself.
Yeah, yeah, right. So that's the hiccup I'm in right now, that I need to adjust something.
So what shows up in you when you are honoring yourself and you're standing in your power and they get shitty? What happens in you?
It feels like um it's a cluster because I might get mad. I might feel like it's whatever, there's some abusive energy,
Yeah.
or feel like, well, now what?
Uh-huh.
Now I want to run, or just like a whole bunch of um but it's like feeling bad or feeling
Yeah.
mad.
Mm. And we're right at time. I just want to mention that, and we can go. I can stay a few minutes after. But I'm wondering if all of these emotions, this cluster of emotions, are rising up for you to choose differently. Because you said you get angry or feeling mad.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the fire here that's here to move you to choose something that's here to rise up so that you can choose something different. So that it's bringing you clarity of, okay, I want to choose something different. This isn't it. And then maybe beneath the anger, you feel bad or sad
Mm-hmm.
because you're choosing either staying in connection with this person that keeps being shitty to you when you don't follow the rules. And it's really sad because it does not feel supportive. And then it might bring up a sense of that bad feeling, like feeling almost powerless. So inviting you to take steps to create more support in your life. So would
Yeah.
you be willing to start to move these emotions when they show up? It is a cluster, Shanti.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you starting by doing the muse method. So let's do a little practice. We're going to work with the cluster. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's start. We're going to just do the traditional muse method. Close your eyes, follow your breath. And we're only going to do it for like 30 seconds. Sink into you. And we're going to access this situation that's showing up a couple of times here. So in your mind's eye, just kind of going back into that situation, being with the cluster that might be here. And now, if you were to ask the cluster, what is the loudest right now? What is it saying? What is the loudest in you showing up right now? What is that? Because I want to work with whatever's first.
Or the anger.
Anger. Okay, so would you be willing to move the anger? And what that could look like is you're going to punch some pillows or you're going to wring out the blanket that you have there.
Right.
So, and if you want, you can name some of the things that you feel angry about when you're doing it. So you're going to do it real time with me here. You're going to punch pillows, you're going to wring out the blanket, you're going to do something.
Okay.
And you're going to be thinking about moving this anger, not thinking about allowing this anger to move through you, not thinking. Just allow that anger to move through you. Is there something you want to name that you feel really angry about in this with this cluster that's here? What are you angry about?
I'm just angry of having people put, lace this shit on me, or, like, um, try to get more out of me, than and not
Yeah.
appreciating my goodwill.
So how are you dishonoring yourself and losing yourself in this process, Shanti?
Yeah, they're not allowing me to have my own space and needs. So,
So what choices do you have to honor and respect you?
well, communicate my need and boundary. And if that's not working, then access denied.
Okay, so now you know that if you communicate and they don't receive it, that means you need to at least limit communication with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so is that anger still present or has something else now arose in you?
I just feel more chi flowing because the stuck energy is moving.
Yeah.
Um,
So if you want, let's do the muse method again. Let's connect and we'll write down what comes through after this. So is there anything now beneath the anger as this energy is flowing in you? Is there anything now here? And just let's do the muse method for 20 seconds and just see what's arising now. What are you noticing? And just be here and just notice.
I I think sadness is below the anger. It's
Okay.
a it's a disappointment.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Let's come into that reverent stance. Bring your hands to your heart, either on top of each other or staggered, and look down at your heart, just revering the sadness that's here to support you and remind you that you matter. So, how are you not allowing yourself to choose what is right for you?
Yeah, it's a deferring to the other person's need,
Okay.
basically.
So, deferring to their need. So, then how might you deepen into you and support your own needs rather than deferring?
Just having the clarity of what I want or what I need,
Okay.
and then being able to communicate that more in real time. Uh, and or even if I don't have the words or I don't know it, I can at least say, yeah, I'm gonna need some time, a timeout.
Yeah. I need some space.
Yeah.
And what, like, in what ways could you take time for yourself? Even if you don't have the answers or able to communicate it, how could you take time for yourself?
Yeah, like I'm just imagining if they're in that conversation and it's not feeling right or in the Zoom or whatever, I can just say, I'm I need a timeout or I need to get back to you. There's some things coming up or I need
Hmm.
to reset or, just
Yeah. And are you willing, after you do that and you get off the call, to meet yourself and be with the uncomfortableness? Because that's what I keep hearing arising, because you're choosing you. And you've had a lifetime of choosing everyone else and rescuing everyone else before you've rescued yourself. So it's going to it will feel uncomfortable and scary honoring yourself and choosing you.
yeah,
Can you stop and just do the muse method even for 30 seconds to just say, and I've got your back. I'm gonna be here with you.
yeah,
Because Shanti, these people are not gonna do that for you. They won't. They're gonna continue to suck you dry because they know how to do that.
right,
And now you're saying, no, this isn't okay anymore. So you're in the discomfort of choosing you.
right.
You're building your courage muscles to be courageous and choose what honors Shanti, which when you're building courage muscles and you're honoring, when we honor one, we honor all.
Yep.
Is there any other emotions here that want to be met? as well? Besides, we move the anger, we move the sadness. Is there anything else that's here?
Uh, now it feels like it's just a matter of doing the technique or whatever you would say.
Well, and asking the questions, because today I was here to help you. That's why I'm here holding your hand. And then outside of our time, you hold your own hand, you do the muse method and you ask the questions.
Mm-hmm.
When the anger's there, what is this rising up in me to choose differently?
Mm-hmm.
Or the sadness, how can I deepen into me and support my needs?
Okay.
And then you're going to be, and then it's the sense of powerless, because that's what I was hearing is that discomfort of feeling powerless because you're not filling that void anymore of helping these people. You're creating a void to meet yourself and it feels really uncomfortable. But what you're also doing is you're gifting them the space to take care of themselves,
Yeah.
but it feels uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
So you might need to ask, like, what steps can I take to be productive to this, like for this? I need to get off this call, or I need to just go and be. I need to go and create some music. Like go
Yeah.
create from that space. Like use that energy to use it to create what you want. Because these
Yeah.
this energy that is literally consuming you, it's taking all your energy. It's keeping you from doing what you love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get that. Yep.
Yeah. So what did that experience that we just did together of like really moving through that cluster, what are you walking away with from that?
Well, it was nice that it cleared it quickly from the anger to the sadness to a bit
Yeah.
more neutral.
Wow.
So, um, yeah, I'm just training myself to catch this stuff in the moment. You know,
Yeah.
that's the tricky part.
Well, and how do you notice that you're thinking and you're in your head and you're thinking of the other person? How do you notice that's happening?
Just because it's creating a funky feeling, really, where
What's
I'm
the funky feeling?
I'm anxious,
Oh,
or the anger and the anxiousness.
okay. So there's some anxiousness that's wanting to breathe some life into you.
Yeah.
So are you willing to follow those check engine lights when that shows up? Because that's your reminder that you're in your head
Hmm.
and you're focused on rescuing and saving somebody else, abandoning yourself in the process.
Yeah.
So that when the anxiousness shows up, when the anger starts to show up, you know how it feels. That's your invitation. Oh yeah, I'm going to do the muse method. I'm going to move some of this energy.
Yeah. So I could pretty much know that if I'm feeling, anxious, angry, sad, that's a fallout from some kind of, it's going on in my head somewhere, you know, so I can uh work on that through the method that pulls me out of that loop.
Yep. So and say thank you, body. Thank you for reminding me it's here because it's like I'm going to get really loud because Shanti is in her head again. She's disconnected from me. So I'm going to show up as anxiety. I'm going to show up as anger. I'm going to show up as sadness so that you listen.
Yeah.
Thank you, body. It's so wise, Shanti.
Yeah.
And now you're catching it. Let's acknowledge you are catching it sooner. You
Yeah.
are, and you are standing up for yourself sooner.
Yeah.
And still in the discomfort of doing it.
Yeah. And I don't have as much of the usual guilt over standing up for myself, because
That's kind of huge. That's
yeah,
really huge. You don't have as much guilt. Because
yeah,
are you doing something wrong by honoring your needs?
yeah, it's a little bit of a good riddance feeling.
Yeah. But is it like, because guilt is a useful emotion when it's because it's here to tell us when we did something wrong. So are you doing something wrong by honoring your own needs?
No, um, yeah, it's like I'm not as taking stuff as personally in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like folks have created their own reality.
Yep.
That dude wants to take his marbles and go home,
Go ahead.
you know,
Good riddance.
right?
I ain't got time for your marbles.
Exactly. Um,
So what are your main takeaways from our time together today?
well, if I'm the check engine light, if
Mm-hmm.
feelings are a big signal to get back into the body and the muse method and being present, and to really start asking myself what steps I can take, and looking at where can I create more support. um, I can make the muse method basic and not always pull in the child future self, so I can,
Yeah.
make sure I'm not skipping it. Um, yeah, it's just still this thing of how can I keep choosing myself and not throwing myself under the bus.
Yeah. So do you want to start to ask that? Show me how to choose me.
Mm-hmm.
Every day start to ask, show me how to choose me. And you can add and not throw myself under the bus, but is that what you really want?
Oh, I don't need to add that.
Yeah. So just show me how to choose me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even show me how to let go with beauty, grace, and ease.
Oh, that one I need because
Yeah.
um
Because that's one of the things you're actively working on is letting go of the things that aren't serving you anymore.
yeah,
And I'll tell you, Shanti, that's been a question of mine for at least 2 years, at
yeah,
least. And I look to the sunset every day when it's out, when it's not behind the cloud people, so that I remember, because the sun is always showing me, show me how to let go with beauty, grace, and ease. And then I'm at least shown every day, even if
yeah,
it's behind the clouds, because there's days where we're letting go and nobody can see it because it's kind of hidden. But we're not doing it for anybody else, we're doing it for ourselves.
I'm just thinking maybe I'll have my own symbol, like I
Yes,
work with water.
perfect.
So
Yes, I want you to create your own symbols, of
I'm
course.
gonna think about what would represent that for me.
Yes, absolutely. And just by you asking, you're inviting the universe to show you that symbol that will represent that letting go.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
asking to be shown. You're asking to learn how to choose you.
yeah.
And you're doing it more. Your body's getting louder. But now it's you're recognizing there's still too much energy and how do I approach this? How do I
Yeah,
because you want to do it the right way and you're finding your way right now.
yeah.
So
Wow. I'm
another powerful session. A lot of things came through.
It's a quickening.
It is. We're amplifying, and that's what we're doing is we're continuing to amplify your power and your presence. And through that, it's just like the Muse method. Everything where you feel stuck is like ice. And the more your fire expands, those things start to melt and vaporize. it can be easy, but we've been told it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So we make it hard. It's not actually hard.
Hmm.
I will tell you because I know from my experience, my divorce, I was in a divorce support group. I had such ease in my divorce
Hmm.
because that's what I continued to focus on. Is
Mm-hmm.
I kept doing my connecting and it just slowly faded away.
Oh,
I'm not
nice.
going to tell you that there wasn't grief in the process. Yes, there was. But I
Mm-hmm.
gave myself to feel the feels and I
Mm-hmm.
moved them. I let them move me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave me clarity so I could support my needs and honor what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to keep focusing in on that. Okay, so let's look at our next time together.
Mhm.
So we are on, I think it's the 11th, if I'm correct. Yeah, it looks like it should be the 11th is when we have our next session. Does that work for you still?
Yeah. 4 o'clock.
Yes. Four
Thanks for
o'clock.
switching. It was good.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the Shiva Ratri tomorrow.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I will be teaching, but
Me
I'm hoping I can get to one of your things coming up in the near future.
Yeah, baby. It's yeah. There's a couple. There's a lot of these Shiva Ratri events, and
Oh, I'm
I'm
so
going down
excited.
to the Amachi Center.
Okay.
It's gonna be a big shindig. A lot of kirtan and satsang and you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You're doing your magic. And that's why, Shanti, as you're doing more of your work, you
Mhm.
might notice you need more time and space.
Yes.
And it's not wrong. It's just your soul is speaking that you're learning how to slow down and honor that.
Yeah.
That's the directions of our soul.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah. I'm gonna write that one down too.
Yep. And you can borrow it. There's nothing new under the sun. The directions of our soul are slow and down.
I like it.
That's why we go at geologic speed. So look at any rock you have. That's the speed we're going at. Working on the 1 degree shifts because that way it'll be sustainable and it will become a new way of being for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And
Gotcha.
then I'll see you on the 11th but message me if you need support between now and then. You have permission to message me if you need support in between our sessions. And
Thank
that
you.
can look like I did it. I had my own back. I rescued me and I listened. Or it could
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh shit, I did it again.
Yeah.
Both are okay. I'm not going to fix you. I'm just going to be curious with
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then when you have a chance, send payment for our time together today.
Yep.
And it
Very
will be, if you're okay with it, it'll be 160 just because we did go a little bit over and I was trying to be mindful of that.
okay.
And I'll send you the recording and my notes and all of that goodness. And is that still supportive for you to have the notes and the recording? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And you can
Okay.
always speed it up too. The recording, the speed, the
Oh yeah.
playback speed, you can always speed it up too.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right. Take care, Shanti.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.